Okay, people, I gotta redo this because my video went 16 minutes, and I'm really upset because I love the way it ended, but I'll try to end it the same way. First, we're gonna talk a little bit about, the WikiLeaks or whatever you want to call them. They're lucky that I'm not president, because I would say, do your worst, damn it, because I really don't care. But as far as we're concerned, you are a spy for a hostile group of people. You are giving information to them, directly passing it on. You're using the disguise of freedom of the press. But you don't understand about the Constitution and freedoms. Freedoms do have a limit, even freedom of the press. The limit is when it infringes onto other people's limits. Even freedom of the press does not have the right to post lies or items that are insignificant and which only would cause the loss of life. They can be held responsible for those lives. If one person dies because of the stuff that WikiLeaks leaks out, just one person, what's his name could be held responsible for murder because he helped do murder. Now the private, you got a different grounds there. That man, I know I can't call him a man. I can call him a little boy because that's what he is. He's acting like a little boy. He joined the military and is in a position where he gave his word to the nation and to the people of this country. And he broke his word. The only thing that makes us who we are, our very word. He's not even an individual anymore. He's not a person. He is a liar. He broke his word. He's a traitor. He's a traitor to his very word, his very core. Whatever reasons he had for doing it, he gave his solemn word and broke that. Maybe it's because we have gotten to the point where we believe, well, it's okay to do anything as long as you maybe might try. You know, it doesn't matter that you set your standards so low that it means nothing. Because, actually, you are nothing. And that's really what our society has done. Has placed you all in a position where you believe that it's okay to do whatever you want and that you can do things and not keep your word, not believe in the character of an individual, and you become a nothing. Forget politically correct, because I'm not going to be politically correct. I'm going to be straightforward. I'm not going to say things you want to hear. I'm going to say things you're not going to like. I'm sorry for the parents of that traitor, that liar, that immature nothing, because that's all he is. I'm sorry if you people who think Weedy Pixie did a great thing. He did not. He, above all else, broke his word. And that is where the problem lies. Is he a scapegoat? There's other people that are going to have to get, because how did a private get a hold of that information, and where did he get it from? That's another question that needs to be answered. There might be others that are cowards besides liars. And did he come up and say, I'm the one, or did he get caught being the one? If he got caught, then he's just like the cowards who are still hiding. If he come up and said, I did it, at least he's brave enough to stand up and acknowledge he's a liar, that he's not worth listening to. His word means nothing and will always mean nothing. Well, that's enough on that. Let's get on to other things. Next thing is a little bit about this health insurance. Well, overall, it has a lot of good points to it. But there is something in it that is extremely dangerous. Not just a little bit dangerous. Extremely dangerous. It is the part that tells you that you will have to buy health insurance. The government doesn't have that authority. And you might say, well, it's for the good of the nation, though. Ah, for the good of the nation. Well, why we're doing health insurance, then let's think about health insurance for the good of the nation. Let's truly think about it. Most people, while they're younger, don't really need much health insurance. They're kind of relatively healthy. The expenses are usually less, unless they do other problems, which we'll discuss later. So that most people, until they're about 65, aren't very expensive medically. After that, so why don't we do this also? Why were we requiring everyone to get it? We'll stop requiring people over the age of 75 to have to get health insurance, because we're going to send them to health camp. They check into the camp today and tomorrow they're dead. Simple. Wipe out all those expenses for the next couple years that they would have. We can even move it as early as 70 if you want. But we'd be doing it for the good of the nation. But also, why for the good of the nation? Let's look at this. Some big expenses is children who are born with birth defects. Well, for the good of the nation, we could eliminate those. We'll send them to a nursery for children who are born, which is government would consider for the good of the nation as would be a debt onto society's medical program. And they check in the nursery, and parents come to see them the next day. Oh, they're gone. They passed away. That is for the good of the nation. What else can we do for the good of the nation? Well, you got to understand, medical has a lot of things going on, right? So, what can we do for the good of the nation? Well, having you to have to buy health insurance, well, that's good. And if you allow that, that's the first step. Because right now, the government's got all kinds of things to tell you you can't buy. You can't buy this, you can't buy that, you can't buy cocaine, you can't buy marijuana. If you're under the age of 21, you can't buy alcohol. You can't buy this, you can't buy that. I mean, plain and simple, our government tells you a lot of things you cannot do. Now they're going to start telling you what you can do, what you got to do. Well, if they're telling you already what you cannot do, and they start telling you everything you can do, think about that. What kind of freedoms are left? Is there any? See, you people got to understand out there. You guys are allowing this to happen. If this clause stands that the government can tell you you have to buy health insurance, well, let's look for medical. We know that anyone who buys beef 85% or lean or less has a lot of fat in it. That's not good. 97% has a lot less fat. It's a lot healthier. And pork is considered fat completely. So let's do it this way. You fat people out there, you're a medical expense. You add on. When you get to be real big, and you guys seen them, I'm not going to be politically correct because I want you to listen. I want to upset you so that you hear what I'm saying. You real fat people who can't walk around. You can use all the excuses you want while you're there. And you look at me and say, well, you would never know what it's like. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but I have a constant battle with weight too. I'm overweight right now, but I'm a lot less than what I was 2 years ago. A lot less. There was 2 of me 2 years ago inside this body. Well, not 2 years, about 4 years ago inside this body. I had real bad diabetes. I had a lot of things wrong with me. So about 4 years ago, a little bit over that, there was double what I am right now in weight. And I'm not kidding. And I ended up having to lose a lot of weight. No special fad diets or anything. And I will tell you, I was fat. Now you look at these people. How much are they costing you every day? Well, every time you see them riding around in one of those electric strollers in the store had to buy those strollers, didn't they? That cost the store money. Where did they get that money? Did somebody come along and say, oh, I'm going to give you 100 strollers to put in 10 stores? No, they had to buy it. So they had to raise the price of their goods to cover those strollers. So every time you see a fat person riding around in one of those strollers, you got somebody who's costing you money when you buy that product. Well, that's not good for the society. So let's start thinking, the government can tell you have to get insurance, but why? Well, they're getting to the point where they want to tell you what you can eat. They can say, okay, you cannot eat any beef that is less lean than 97%. If it's 85%, you can't eat it because it's too fat. Too much fat. You're going to get fat. You can't eat pork because it's considered fat oil. Well, wait a minute. Beef and pork is not good for you, so you can't. So you can eat chicken and fish. Do you see where it's going? And it all starts off with one little statement. You have to buy medical insurance. They're telling you what you have to buy, what you can buy. Now you may say, no, it's just, Have you ever seen a government that backed down and said, oh, we've got too much power, so let's start doing... No, the people force it to happen. Governments continue to take power till they have full control. And they do it step by step. And it always sounds good. It always sounds like it's the right thing to do. When truthfully, it's the wrong thing, step by step. Till you can't say, stop, no more. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to believe a single sentence I say. What you have to do is just check in the history. But all these Nazis out there, all these Muslim fanaticals, all these Christian fanaticals, all of them, they're not the worst. There's somebody a lot more worse. See, our government will go, and I've always said this, it will continue to go in its direction, grabbing more and more power until it reaches into the back pocket of the American citizen and take out just too much. And then we'll say, whoa, stop! Unfortunately, there's a major group out there that doesn't want to say stop. And it's you out there who say, I don't vote. You allow everything to be happening that you're complaining about. You cause it. Nobody else. Because you are not involved. You remind me of a person who stands there, sees two cars hit head on in a parking lot. There's three people standing between them. They hit head on. They crush those three people, back up a little bit, they fall to the floor, they're bleeding and everything. You look at that and you walk away. That's what you are. This nation is built on the ability of the people to make the nation. But only the people, not the government. All governments, no matter how pure in design, grows like a cancer and will continue to grow like a cancer. It's up to the people to stop it. And you people who say, I don't vote because it don't matter, anything I do really don't matter, you allow it to happen. You are the cause. That's like a person getting cancer and they gets diagnosed. You got cancer. Okay, well, that's it. I'll go home and die. No treatment, nothing, because there's nothing you can do. I'm going to die. I'm going to die from cancer. There's nothing, so I'm going. Maybe there is nothing. But the bottom line is, the truth is, you people who don't vote are worse than the Nazis, the Muslim fanatics, the Christian fanatics, the Jewish fanatics. The worst of the worst of all the people in this country are you, the ones who don't vote, who don't stand up, who don't get involved in your government because, oh, nothing will happen. And because you don't do anything, nothing happens. How could you expect anything else? You are part of the major problems why things happen the way they do. I'm not politically correct, just straightforward.